Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Tony. Tony is a photographer, he's from Belfast, but he lives in Glasgow. So, let's see what Tony has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello. Yes, I can now.
Okay, super. Sorry.
Should I call you Anthony or Tony?
Tony.
How are you, Tony, today?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Thank you. Just a little bit tired because I'm decorating my house, so I'm just.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's a way bigger job than what I thought it was going to be.
And where are you from, Tony?
So I'm from Belfast in Northern Ireland, but I currently live now in Glasgow in Scotland.
Amazing. And what's the best part of living in Glasgow so far?
I would actually say the weather, because I actually really like the rain and the kind of wet, dull weather. I love it, so it's pretty good.
And why Glasgow?
Well, I moved to Glasgow in 2013, and it was actually for a guy that I liked back then. So from that initial move and kind of meeting friends and stuff, it kind of became very quickly like my second home. And there are kind of better work opportunities here for creatives as well.
It's very interesting because I was doing interviews yesterday as well, and there was a guest on the show that moved from London to Dubai because of the same situation as you, because of love.
Yeah. It's not always the best decision.
Yes, absolutely. And what do you do for a living?
So I'm a fashion photographer.
Oh,
so, yeah, I mean, I guess more broadly, I'm a photographer, but my work is primarily fashion and portraits.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about your job then.
Well, basically, I'm completely self-taught. I just loved taking pictures when I was younger, and I kind of grew up at the time where doing a job like that, you know, your parents would tell you like you'll never make any money, like you're gonna have to get a real job. But I was really lucky that I worked really hard and had a lot of good opportunities, so the right doors opened for me. So I guess now a regular day for me might look like shooting maybe some still life for e-commerce shots for like a shoe company or a fashion company, and then I might be doing like headshots for actresses after lunch, or going to fashion shows and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not as cool as what everyone thinks it is, but I really can't complain compared to some people who work a lot harder than me.
Amazing, absolutely. And I can see how much I'm sure you love your job. I'm sure you love what you do. And I think that's a big plus when you do something that you like and you enjoy. You don't feel like it's working, you just feel like having fun, I believe.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, it doesn't feel like you're working. Sometimes when you get paid, or not being paid, sometimes I'm like, I can't believe I got paid to do that, because it felt like something I would do just like in my own time, so it's really, really nice to be able to have an actual career doing it.
Very good, very good. Okay, Tony, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yes.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. I've got him best friend, full of random questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Okay, Tony. Right, so before I pick the first question, through the game, if there is a question that you don't have an answer for, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? All very friendly.
Okay.
First question for you is, what's the biggest difference between you and your best friends?
Ooh, I think the biggest difference between me and my best friends is that I don't ever view anything as an obstacle the way that they would. I wouldn't view travel or money or distance or things like that an obstacle to get what I want. And my friends have always said to me, like, you can't just do that. I'm like, yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll go do that. I traveled quite a lot when I was younger and went to America back and forwards, and my friends were just like, "You can't just go to America." I was like, yeah, well.
And so your best friends, most of them, they live in Belfast or they live in Glasgow? Or
A mixture. I think a mixture of Belfast and Glasgow. But they all wanted to stay in the cities.
Mhm.
And
do
I
you
never
go and do you go back to Belfast very often or not?
I haven't been able to in the last couple of years, just because of COVID. But normally I would have went home maybe like once a month, because they're very, very close together. It's like a 20-minute flight.
20 minutes flight from Glasgow.
Yeah.
Oh my lord, amazing! And there are very often flights, or like?
Yeah, there used to be like 3 or 4 flights a day, and there's also a ferry that can take you over in a car or a bus, but that takes about 5 hours. So it's still not really that long.
Oh my god, amazing, amazing. So for you too, it's well, for you, it's okay.
Yeah. Yes. Good.
Next question. Right, before the next question, what's the most challenging part of being a photographer? And what do you like the most of it?
Okay. I think the most challenging part is when you do kind of corporate work, hearing critiques or criticism about something that you view as your art. But that's also, in another way, the thing that I like the most now as well, because learning to not take that critique so personally has really helped me be able to create work that I can take an objective stand back from. And I think as a businessman and an artist, that's a really, really good thing to be able to do. And obviously, just on another level, just getting to meet tons of different people from all different kind of walks of life, and that all looks all different. It's great. It suits me because I'm quite a social person. So
Very good. You come across a very open-minded and approachable person, for sure.
thank you.
Next question for you is, what makes you very sentimental?
Ooh, music. I think that certain songs that I will hear on the radio, or if I could catch something on Spotify, like I think it can transport me right back to when I first heard it, and I've got quite like a good memory, or like vivid memory, so I can feel like I'm right back when I heard it. And I have to have music on pretty much everywhere I go, or in the house, and even now it feels really strange because I turned the music off so that for doing this, and I feel like it's really the quietest it's ever been in the house.
I totally agree with you. I think even though sometimes when you are those melancholic moments or very sad moments, if you put a music on, it's gonna make you even like more sad, but in a better way. You feel the pain in a better way, the more kind of comforting way.
Yeah.
Sometimes as well, when I'm feeling as well, sometimes when I put this music on, and that brings me to some breakups or some kind of sad moment, I just enjoy the moment. It's nice to hear it, to listen to it, and just go back to see how much you got over it, and the memory is there. The memory is there, hidden somewhere. But yeah, it's a good way of I love as well. For me, music all the time.
It's good. It's like self therapy, and it's free.
And it gives a smile as well, isn't it? Like it gives a smile, even though, oh my God, I can't believe I went through that, or I'm over it, or something. So it's I totally agree. I'm the same as well. Next one. Okay. First, by the way, for example, this music now I'm playing, actually, it reminds me of my teenager before I left Brazil. I remember like I was like 16, 17, and sometimes, of course, I change music when I'm doing interviews. And when this came along, I thought, oh, I'm gonna get this one. It kind of brings me good memories.
That's good. It reminds me of not being able to dance at like the school disco and feeling like really awkward.
Next question for you is, what's the best and the worst of being yourself?
Ooh, the best and the worst of being myself. I think the best thing about being myself is really, well, I think that it's constantly changing, because as I kind of go through things or survive different things in life, you know, like breakups or illnesses or stuff like that, I think I start to see myself as a whole picture rather than just my view of all my little bits of my life. And I think yeah, I think the best part of me is that I feel really content with who I am, and really happy with like my identity and what I'm doing with my life. And the worst part is that I can be my own worst enemy when it comes to second guessing things that I should be doing. So it almost is like plays off the best thing, is also sometimes plays into the worst thing, because I can, if it's a big decision, I can impulse make decisions, and then I'm like, oh no, I don't know if that was the right thing to do. And then I'll second guess myself, and then I'll spiral, and then I'll realize that I'll listen to music, and then I'm fine.
You are the kind of person that, for example, sometimes when you plan your day, like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and if you don't do it for some reason, do you feel guilty or you give yourself a hard time afterwards, or not?
Yeah, I definitely can. I think depending on what the task is, if it's something that, you know, is right in front of me and should get done, if I look at that importance and I've done something else less important, then I feel quite guilty. But I'm trying to actually learn the art of just saying, I can do that tomorrow, because I'm not very good at resting.
I've learned through the years, Tony, that sometimes you need to kind of look yourself in the mirror and go like, you know what, you're doing well.
Yeah.
It's okay to not to do something that you plan to, and it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay not, you know what I mean? Sometimes you need to relax as well. I think nowadays the world is so fast, and we going with the word as well. You know what I mean? We follow the word, and we are very proactive. And sometimes you don't follow the same way, the same path. Sometimes you go like, oh my God, I wish I have done that. I wish you know, and it doesn't work like that. It's not just up to us sometimes. Sometimes the universe needs to, you know what I mean, be around and follow us as well. It's not just up to us. So yeah, be kind to ourselves. It's the best way. Next one. I just realized that you have very beautiful tattoos. Tell me a little bit about your tattoos.
So both my arms are kind of tattooed. My left arm basically tells a story of part of my life. So I've got like I can show you if you want. It's maybe a little bright. I've got like a raven flying with a compass, and it's flying against the direction of it.
Oh.
And I've got a ship, and I've got some swallows. So it's very much like a kind of travel directional theme on that arm, and that just kind of was talking about the direction I took in the first part of my life. And then once I did that, I realized, oh, all my tattoos, they don't have to have big meaning. I can just get things that I like. And so I got a dinosaur on this hand.
Oh wow!
I love dinosaurs, and my arm is just like two big massive flowers. Wow. So I thought, because this arm was quite dark and dense, I wanted this one to be really simple and colorful. So, and I've got my knuckles and.
What says there? So
this says "Live Full."
Live full.
Just as like a daily reminder to live every minute and not to worry, sweat the small things. And then I've got these alchemy symbols here, and that was kind of I kind of got my hands tattooed to prove a point, because my mum and dad always said like you wouldn't be able to get a good job if you had your hands tattooed or your neck tattooed, because that was just the way things were. So I got those alchemy symbols because it's basically, you know, the process of turning things into gold. So I thought it was like giving me the Midas touch. So if I use my hands to hold my camera, so the idea was that whatever I touch would turn to gold. So
very good. I love that. I love the idea, the way you kind of approached, you know what I mean, your connection with the tattoo. How old were you when you had the first one?
I think I was 19 when I had my first tattoo, but I didn't get the majority of them until I must have been about 25 or 26.
I see. Fun enough, on Monday, this Monday now, I'm going to have an interview on the show. I mean, we already did the interview. It's going to come alive, a show with someone from America, USA. He literally has the whole face tattoos and the whole, and it's amazing. So it's going to, and we talk about it as well. And he got like different symbols. It's amazing. So it's going to come up, on Monday, it's going to come up the interview, 10 p.m. So if you're free, feel free to watch it.
Yeah, definitely will.
Next question for you is, who in your family you would trade place with, and why, if you could?
Ooh, Well, that's a tough one. I think I would trade places with my older sister, Kellyanne. She had children quite young, so her life path was very different from mine. Whereas I just went off, and my sister obviously stayed and raised a family. So I think I would trade places with her because it's the most different of my lived experience. So I would be kind of interested to see what that would be like. Yeah, and I just think I think it's easy to be young and for your sister to have kids, and you just think, oh, my sister. But I actually think it was probably a lot harder than what I have always thought it to be, especially now that they're older. My oldest nephew just turned 18, so I feel like my sister maybe she's starting to finally get a little bit of freedom back. So yeah, I think that I'd swap with my sister.
Oh, beautiful. And there's just two of you, or you have another siblings as well?
No, I've got another sister, so there's three of us, and I'm the middle child. And my younger sister, Amanda, also just had a child during lockdown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was very strange. I didn't get to meet my niece until she was nearly a year old. And the same for my mum and dad. They got to see her when she was born, but then they didn't see her again for like another year and a half. So yeah, I'm the middle one, and I'm the childless black sheep.
Why you say that?
I'm totally not even really a black sheep, but because I actually have made like good decisions and have a good life. But I think I've just made big, bold, kind of crazy decisions. So it just looks like I just do whatever I want. But I usually do put some thought in the.
Good for you, lucky you that you have being brave to do those mistakes and to stand up yourself. And life's about that. It's about carry on, and as you said at the beginning, about going to America. Yes, I'm going. Yes, that's what life's about. There are no rules. When you are yourself, you're not hurting people. You just follow your path. If you fall, get up again, and carry on.
Exactly.
Next question. Okay, next question for you is, if you could live anywhere in the world, where that would be and why?
Ooh. If I could live anywhere in the world, that's a good one. I've been to a lot of really great and interesting places, but I think the place that kind of I have like closest in my heart would probably be, it's a really strange answer, Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan. So I lived there for 3 or 4 years doing humanitarian aid work, and it was just a time of my life, I think, when I was like getting older and getting good at what I did at the time and was maturing, and I just think I learned new languages and met new people, so it was a really well-rounded kind of part of my life, and it just really cemented that Bishkek is being a place that I love the people and the culture, post-Soviet Union and kind of half, Catholic, Christian, Muslim, but really welcoming, and I just loved it. It was a really quite warm culture in a cold place, and I love the mountains and the cold and everything as well. So it was a bit like living in Narnia. I loved it.
Wow, amazing. Which year was that? Which time of the?
So it was 2009, I think, that I moved there, or 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Or it might have been 2008. Sorry, I think in the 2000s all the years kind of meld together.
It's been like over 10 years now.
Oh yeah, it has been. And I went back briefly, maybe about 7 years ago, and loved it just as much. But so I would actually love to just go back to visit and see my friends again, just to see how life has changed.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Fingers crossed after these crazy words happen now.
Yeah.
Next one, let's do it. When you think about Belfast, what's the best memories that comes to your mind genuinely when you think about Belfast? Besides your
Um,
family, of course.
I think the sense of community growing up, because I know Belfast obviously gets a kind of, it has a reputation for being rough, maybe quite, scary place to live. And there were elements of that when I was growing up. But what I really remember is like all the neighbors and stuff in the street. Like when we had like street party in the summer, and all the kids, like we were always in and out of each other's houses, and even going to school and coming home and doing homework and then going out and playing. It all just feels like, it didn't ever feel like it was a hard life. I mean, I guess I was a child, so it probably wasn't a hard life, but I think there was just a sense of, I think people think, when they think about Belfast, they think of the separation between people because of obviously the divide between religions. But what I personally remember as a child is the kind of togetherness of people. And even as a teenager, thinking that, like, I went to an integrated school as a teenager with Catholics and Protestants, and I was brought up to not be on either side. And I just remember all my friends being the same, and nobody wanted everything that the media was saying, was happening. So I've got great memories of Belfast being a place where people really actually look out for each other.
Amazing, very good. Next question for you is, what is the best compliment have you ever received?
Ooh, the best compliment I've ever received. One time somebody told me I looked a bit like Tom Hardy. which I don't personally see at all, but I feel like that was the best. That was the best compliment I ever got.
Now that you said you got something, I can see something. Yeah.
I think, but for seriousness, probably having my photography work complimented by people that I admire, other photographers that I'd admired, messaged me to tell me that they loved a piece of my work. That was like real, like life-changing compliments. So that was the best, probably.
Very good one, very good. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Right, before the next question, when was the moment when you realized, okay, I was born to be a photographer? When did you find out your passion about photography? There was a moment or a situation that happened to you, or just genuinely happened through the years?
It actually kind of happened later in life. It wasn't really something that I had continued or even experimented with while I was in school or even after school when I was traveling. But I had always loved photos, and I was always, I loved the whole process of holding a camera and creating the photo. I don't know what it was that I loved about it so much, but I think I had some family that lived in America, and they bought me a camera for my birthday, and it was just a little point and shoot camera. And I remember I would take it around with me like it was a big camera, and I would just take photos everywhere I went. And I think I took a photo one time of my friend Fiona, and she loved it so much, and then used it as like a promo for her album that she was making, or a song she was doing. And I remember just thinking like, oh, I think that this is what I could really do. Like, if people could actually use the things that I create for them. And I think the more and more people started to see themselves the way I was seeing them when I photoed them, it was just a really uplifting kind of experience, because even people who hate having photos taken of themselves, the thing I got really encouraged by was people being like, oh, actually, yeah, oh yeah, you're right, I like that picture. People are expecting to not like them, and I think that was the moment when people started liking pictures of them that they weren't expecting to. Then I realized, okay, I want to do this.
Amazing, very good. Next question for you is, if you could have tea, okay, a cup of tea with a fictional character, who that would be and why?
Oh, a fictional character. Okay, if I could have tea with a fictional character, who would it be? Oh, there's a few. Just one though, I would probably pick the Phantom from Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, why is that? Tell me about it.
I love. I mean, I like musicals and stuff, and I love Phantom of the Opera. And I always just found him to be a really interesting character because I think he really felt like the way he was acting was just and right. And I'm always really fascinated by people who are so like stiff in their judgment for things that they can't see how horrible the things that they're doing are. So I'm always fascinated to kind of talk to people like that because I just wonder like what. Yeah, it's more of the fascination of being able to talk to someone like who's so different and quite horrible.
Good one, very good. I haven't watched the play yet, actually. It might was my list. I'd like to see it sometime next year for sure.
Yeah, it's really good on stage as well. And the movie, I like the movie as well. I saw the movie first. It kind of like eased me into the theater side, but yeah, you should check it out. It's good. It's really good.
Actually, just gave me an idea now. Maybe Christmas Day, I'm gonna spend some time at home. I might watch one of these. You see, just give me an idea.
That's great.
And I remember you for sure. Next question. Okay, Tony from Belfast. Next question for you is: if you could make up a school subject, what that would be and why?
If I could make up a school subject, I don't know if they do this now, but this is one that I definitely would have loved growing up, would be how to budget to pay your bills. Because that is not something that we learned in school. I mean, obviously we learn numbers with math and whatnot, but no one teaches you the actual skill of being able to understand money and how it comes and goes. I guess there's accountancy courses or whatever, but I mean just in everyday life, how to manage your money, because that was the biggest thing after leaving school and then going straight to work. And I was like, okay, I don't really know what to do with the money that I'm getting, and then it all went.
It's so interesting you saying that now, Tony, because I had an interview with someone as well, I think was in Canada, and he works with business, and he told me the same thing as well, actually. And he explained a very like a broad way. He said, William, we just learn with life. When you grow up, when you start, as you said, when you start working or you start learning with life by yourself. But if you had this basic as a child, as like, you know what I mean, you would manage your money in a much better way. You make a lot of better choice for how to save money, because we don't learn that. Even though your parents are there, like, okay, you need to save money, but they're no like, you don't get the idea until you go through some, you know what I mean, tough times or whatever. But I think that's, he said something exactly the same as you. Very interesting. 3 questions left for you.
Okay.
Let's do it. I'm sure you, as you mentioned before, that you like a lot living in Glasgow, but what's the most challenging part?
I think the most challenging part about living in Glasgow is the actual separation from my family, because I was going to say I'm not that close to my family. I am close to my family, but I've always been kind of a free spirit, so I've always been, you know, even I love my mum and obviously I miss her, but my mum knows that. My mum knows I'm totally fine, you know. But sometimes when I do have a kind of hard time, especially as you know, when it comes into winter or, you know, birthdays or Christmas and things like that, that the hardest thing is just not being able to, you know, go to my mum and dad's house and just like sit down and have a cup of tea. You know, so sometimes, yeah, that an element of loneliness, that you really are in a different city by yourself. That is the hardest thing. It doesn't happen very often, but that would be the hardest thing.
Totally agree. I just signed underneath your statement right now, because I'm the same as well. Like, actually during this time now, Christmas time, I've been away like more than 20 years away from my family. You know, I left Brazil, I was 19 years old. But around this time of the year, sometimes some part of the year, I don't know, I just have this genuinely like melancholic moments where I feel, oh my God, I wish I was close to my family, you know what I mean? I wish I could sit down with them for a meal right now or have a moment, because sometimes it's, even though you are very free spirit, you know, you can manage, you can go, but sometimes it hits you and you go like, okay, there we go. But yeah, life is about that.
Yeah.
Next question for you is, what is the strangest gift have you ever received? The strange or the funniest?
The strange or the funniest? There's one that sticks out of my head, but I don't know if it's very strange or funny, but I just remember being so underwhelmed by a gift that I got for Christmas, and it was from my sister-in-law at the time, and she got me a salt and pepper shaker, like, for Christmas, and it was just it was kind of confusing because it just didn't feel like that was the type of gift that you give someone that you know. So that was definitely, I think, one that I don't know why it's always stuck in my memory as being like the worst gift I ever received.
Did you ever find out the reason why you got that?
No, I think maybe she just thought I would like them, but I didn't really want to be ungrateful, I guess, and I did use them, so they did get used. But
at least was useful, at least.
Yeah.
2 questions left. Let's do it. Tony, I believe, are you gay?
Yes.
Yes? Tell me, did you always have the support of your family being gay? Tell me, how is being gay in Belfast and how is being gay in Glasgow? If there's a big difference, how is the approach being gay in both cities?
Okay. Well, I didn't always have the support of my family because obviously I believe, especially in like my generation, as things are starting to change, the only thing that was ever going to change people's minds to be more loving and accepting was experience. And because families didn't have experience of their sons, being this way, it just was something that was going to take time. So when I came out, I was quite distant from my family for a while, and I threw myself into other things and I traveled and whatnot. But the more and more my parents got to have experience of me being their gay son and still being the same person that they knew and loved, that was what kind of changed them. And when I had moved back to Belfast after traveling, I had been asked to participate in a radio conversation, a debate about gay marriage as to whether it should be a legal right at the time, because it wasn't in Northern Ireland until a couple of years ago. And I was talking on the radio about it, and they had other people calling in, and there was one woman who said I would have identified as a gay Christian because I did like Christian missionary work, and she was saying you can't be a gay Christian and you were not formed properly in your mum's womb and all this stuff. And my mum rang up and was on the radio kind of talking about like defending gay people and gay rights and gay marriage, and all because of her experience with me. And that's not something she would have been able to do 5 or 10 years before. And so now I've got the full support of like my family, because they've got to experience me, but it definitely took some time. Being gay in Belfast the reason I left was because I looked around and I didn't feel like there was anything to aspire to, and I didn't want my identity to be, I didn't want to be gay Tony. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to be in my 40s and be like, oh, that's my mate gay Tony, and that was all people knew me as. I wanted to go make a difference in the world so that my sexuality wouldn't be any sort of issue at all. And that, obviously growing up in Belfast, I experienced a different kind of life than being an adult living in Glasgow in the time that I do live now, because obviously it's very friendly here in Glasgow. And I mean, there's still elements of kind of the Catholic Protestant culture, and the people shouting things in the street, especially because I do dress a little more flamboyant, or if I'm out and I'm with my friends and I'm maybe being loud and having fun or whatever. There are still elements, I think, that exist everywhere in the world of people who don't accept it, but it really, both places now, I think you can live quite happy and free, and people will be very supportive and defensive of you as well.
You mentioned something very interesting that I totally agree, Tony. You said about our parents not knowing about how to deal with a gay son, and actually what I believe as well, it's not their fault most of the case, because it's the way the society taught them, is the way religion taught them, is the way they've been raised. So sometimes when I see, of course, I see some gay guys, they have like troubles with parents or dads, and I believe that sometimes you need to educate them. You need to kind of put yourself in their shoes as well, because the society is so strong out there that is the way they need to. It's always happened with the neighbor, with the other neighbor. Never happened to us in our family. Yeah, it's always like that. So sometimes I understand, and sometimes I'm lucky that I've got supportive parents. But when I meet people or friends that they have this issue with their parents, I just, you know what, just go talk, explain to them, sit down. If you need to write down, if you need to explain, show. Nowadays it's so much out there, you can find so much information. Just sit down, explain, educate them, and they might change their way of approaching, of seeing. So if you go against them, it's not going to get anywhere, because they're not going to learn, they're not going to understand. It's going to be always this negativity around.
Exactly.
Yeah. Next question for you is, tell us about your guilty pleasure.
Oh, my guilty pleasure. Oh God, as I say, I feel like there's probably quite a lot. I can be a bit of a secret eater. I like my snacks, and I'll hide snacks in different places. You know, where I'll know where I'll want to get them, where no one else will know where they are. Not in a really serious way, but more just in a, I think 'cause I used to be really, really overweight, and then I lost a lot of weight and got healthier, and that really came from developing my relationship with food. And I feel like this is almost like my guilty pleasure, is kind of like my little secret relationship I've got with food. It's mainly Jaffa cakes, probably, like, hidden all around the place. They're my guilty pleasure. I try to not eat a whole sleeve like at a time, but it's hard. It's hard. They're so small and they're so tasty. But other than that, it's pop divas. I do love that kind of the actual guilty pleasure music. You know, I grew up, you know, with Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears and all of that. And so even though I like to think I'm like this cool fashion photographer that knows like cool indie bands and all this kind of stuff, it's like I do love my pop princesses as well. So, and it annoys me because I feel like that's the stereotype that I didn't want to be when I was growing up. And then it's like I couldn't help but keep stepping into that, and it made me realize that I was really judgmental when I was younger, and now I feel like I'm just gonna like what I like, and I don't care what anyone says about it.
I grew up the same generation as you, so Britney Spears always was at the top as well. Christina Aguilera, what's your favorite Britney Spears song? The favorite.
Toxic.
And the Christina Aguilera?
Oh, far too many. I love Christina's my favorite. It's probably Dirty.
I knew you would say that. I had a boyfriend in the past, English, 10 years ago, and he used to call me Cristina Brasileira.
That's great. Yeah, I've actually got I've got a Christina Aguilera t-shirt.
Oh my goodness! Oh yes! Oh my God! Amazing! It's like, oh, she got the voice. She has the voice. Yeah. I love all those artists as well. Like Britney Spears, I'm a big fan. I love Britney, but Christina Aguilera, I vote to her because she got the voice. Yeah. Christina Aguilera, I've never seen her in concert. Have you ever seen?
Oh yes, I have. A couple of years ago, I saw her twice in 1 week.
Wow. and she was singing with this powerful voice. Like,
yeah, it was amazing. And actually, last week I just watched. She did like an online concert thing that you could buy tickets to. So I watched that as well, and it was just like. Everything she does, I just think I love it.
Do you know, I think it was the last time she was in London. Actually, I will tell you something now. This was very interesting. I love tennis. I love watching tennis, and Roger Federer is my favorite tennis ever. And so when he was playing at the arena, the O2 Arena, was this ATP final. And I was literally there like, oh my God, first time I'm going to see Roger Federer, and actually he lost this game. But anyway, so I was there, I was going to the O2, and I was literally like climbing the stairs to get to my seat. And suddenly I just received a message. William, I just got 2 tickets now to see Christina Aguilera tonight. Do you like to see? And I was like, oh my God, I said, oh my goodness, I couldn't change. Anyway, I wouldn't change because I was there literally, but she was playing in London, and this friend of mine, she got a ticket and her best friend couldn't go, and she thought about me straight away, and she went and I said, oh, I'm gonna kill myself now because I'm literally here to see Roger Federer, but I'd love to see Christina Aguilera as well.
Yeah, I saw her for the first time when I was like 14, and I queued outside with my friends that I was going with all day to get to be front row basically at the concert, and we were right up at the security bar. Like it was amazing. It was really cool.
She can perform and she can sing as well, so that's the part of her. I love to see that. Ready for the last question, Tony?
Yes.
Let's do it. Oh, for the last question, I have some movements now. If I knew you like Christina Aguilera, I would have played. I would have organized the song. Before the last question, I would like you to right. So people there watching the interview, if you could give what would be your best piece of advice for someone who's starting photography right now, or would you like to follow a photography career? What would be your best piece of advice? And also, if you could pick just one, also, which one was your best shoot or your best picture? If you could pick just one, okay?
Okay. My best piece of advice to anyone just in life, I think this can apply to life and not just photography, but is just to not compare yourself to anyone else, because there will always be someone with a better something that you want, or a better whatever, or a smaller waist, or bigger lips. Like there will always be. You will never be your definition of perfect, and I think when you stop comparing yourself to other people, then you actually become your own version of perfect, and it just takes away so much stress from your life when you're not constantly just trying to be someone else. There's only place in the world for you as you. So I think that's probably the biggest piece of advice I could give to people. Just enjoy being yourself. And my favorite shoot, or I think the shoot that I did that I think that I love the most, probably I did it was a couple of portraits for an artist from like a singer-songwriter from Derry, called Bridie Watson, and her singer name is Soap. And it just was the first time that I took a picture that when I had edited it, I felt like that's a picture I could see that being in like National Geographic, like one of those kind of, it felt very like raw and real, and it was the first time I really had felt like I didn't have to work hard to get that, and that is just a picture. And I had a feature like on Photo Vogue as well with it, and people just loved it, and to me it really just summed up. It really felt like it was a summary of like all my work up to that point had finally led to me getting this image where I felt like, oh, if I died and they showed that this was one of my images that I'd taken, I would feel like really happy.
Wow, beautiful.
Okay, I'll send you a wee link in Instagram so you can see what one I'm talking about.
Please do. Right, last question for you now.
Okay.
Tell us something interesting about yourself.
Something interesting about myself.
After everything you already said, there is something?
Yes. I'm also a baby drag queen.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I just started doing drag. I had just started right before the pandemic started, and then the pandemic started, and it gave me all of this time to really hone what I wanted to do and who my character was. So it's something that I didn't want to just put stuff out there as soon as I had done it. I've been kind of slowly curating kind of my images and videos and stuff. So yeah, that's something that not a lot of people really know unless they really know me and they saw that I had another Instagram. But yeah, that's my big secret.
Amazing. Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words, and you just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay, I'll try not to say anything dirty.
No, please, be yourself. Politics.
Government.
Life.
Happiness.
Sex.
Ooh. Maybe just that giggle is probably enough. Secrecy.
Okay. Family.
Home.
Money.
Success.
Love.
Oh, I was gonna say heartbroken.
Okay. Religion.
God.
Fear.
Dark.
Friendship.
Hugs.
Desire.
Lust.
Regret.
Sadness.
Success.
Money. I was gonna say again. This is that's Freud. My Freudian slip on that.
Wish.
Wish. Success.
Okay. Happiness.
Family.
One word for Glasgow.
Inclusive.
One word for Belfast.
Developing.
One word for Northern Ireland.
Incredible.
And the last one now, photographer.
I was gonna say magic. Magic is one that comes to mind, but I know it maybe mightn't feel like it's associated, but yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend, define Tony in one positive word and one negative word. What your best friend will define you?
In a positive word, empathetic.
Okay.
And in a negative, worries too much.
Work in progress?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's play now. Tony and the Magic Box. You can ask me a question, Tony. So you can ask me a question now.
Okay. My question for you is, if you could change one thing in your life, what would it be? One regret that you would change?
Okay. Very good question. I believe I try not to live by regrets. I think regrets, they are all part of our journey. You need to take regrets as a lesson. But if I could not change, but if I could go back in a moment, I think it was a moment where I was in a dark place, and I was asking. I had very good. I call my friends angels. My best friends don't call them. I call them angels because they are angels. I think our best friends, they literally. I'm so fortunate to have very good people around me. And when I was in a dark place, they were trying to, you know what I mean, to show me the right path. And I thought that, you said, oh no, I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I know what I mean. So I think that if I could listen to my friends at the time more carefully or more, I think I would avoid some, let's say, some lessons, some pain. You know what I mean? I think I would avoid that. But I don't see as a regret because it built the person who I am today. But if I could listen to them, I think I would avoid some, let's say, you know what I mean, some situations, or I would avoid some hard lessons. So I think that, I would listen to my best angels at the time when they were there by my side, seeing the big picture, and I wasn't seeing the big picture. But I don't regret. I think everything counts. But yes, I think if it's to your question, I would go there and say, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna take your advice at the time for sure.
Excellent.
Tony, did you have a good time?
Yeah, I had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being part of the show. Thanks for being kind and sweet and to accept my invitation. But before that, I would like to tell me a positive message or a positive quote, something that inspires you in life.
Yeah, so something that inspires me, and it might sound really stereotypical, but I've often found that the things that sound cheesy are often that way because they're true. And just one of my favorite quotes that my friend Carice used to always say, and she died very young of skin cancer, and she was like the most positive person ever. So she's always stuck in my head, and she just would always quote Gandhi, and it was just, be the change you want to see in the world. And that always sounds like it's some big quote that you could never live up to, but it really is. On the smallest level in your own life every day, be the change that you want to see. Like, do things differently if you're not happy with the results that you're getting. And I think the way that you do that and on a small scale really impacts your life on a big scale. So that's just, I think, a positive takeaway I've had from my life, is that you really can make a difference, like no matter who you are or what you do.
Amazing, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I really like it. Tony, it was a pleasure. I really enjoyed connecting with you. When I come to Glasgow next time, I'd like to go for a coffee. And actually, just gave me an idea now. I didn't know that. It's so close to Belfast, because I'd like to visit Belfast as well. But when I come to Glasgow, I'd like to, now because I know it's very close, I might take the chance and go to Belfast as well. I had a guest, actually. One of my very first guests on the show was from Belfast. It was a very emotional interview. I remember now. Oh my God, amazing. One of our very best last year in the beginning when I started doing the show.
Well,
thank you so much. Thanks so much. It was a pleasure. We keep in touch, okay? And I'm looking forward to meet BB, yeah? BB? The drag.
I was saying I'm a drag baby, but my drag name is Iva.
Iva. Okay, so I'm looking forward to meet Iva in the future. Please talk to her to see if she can participate in the show. It'll be amazing.
I'll have my people contact her. People will be...
Yes. Enjoy our weekends and we keep in touch, okay? All the best, okay?
Yes. See you later.
Take care. Bye. Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why do you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.